I think you come to the Bellevue to win it. Wabash always fight.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Don Morel Show, your chance to hear the thoughts and comments of the head football coach of the Little Giant program. And, Coach, we do this week's show in the W Club of Little Giant Stadium. We're going to talk about this in just a little bit, but you get ready for the first home game against Allegheny. How excited are you for this week?
Tremendously excited. Our kids are off the charts, and I think it's going to be great for the Wabash community to get to come together after so many months and to visit our new facility.
Before we talk about that new facility and our opponent this week, we've got another win to talk about, a 42-14 victory at Hiram. Let's go ahead and look at some of the highlights from that game. But for your team, it really started on defense. You got a 3-and-out to open the game. Then Hiram was able to move the ball downfield. You had a big goal line stand, a turnover. You had to go goal line again. You weren't able to necessarily get the stop, but your defense really shined all day. Another opponent held under 50 yards rushing and under 200 yards total offense for the game against the Terriers Saturday.
Well, it really starts. Will Olive was our defensive player of the game. He's a nose guard. Clearly, Seth Burrish played well. David Marsh played great. Joe Rios was awesome. We just had a bunch of guys do a super job for us. Cameron Ferguson on the back end was really good. Josh Myers, another backer, was good. Casey Crozier was good. These are guys who've been around a while and are playing well.
Offensively, you got things going again. On the ground, it was Donovan Snyder who went over 100 yards, 150 yards rushing in the ball game, a couple of touchdowns. And then, as a whole, you got a chance to look at a lot of different running backs and were able to run for over 300 yards, 301 yards rushing in the game. And then the passing attack was fine as well with 4 passing touchdowns in the ball game. So really a good mix of the run and pass.
Clearly, for me, the difference in that game was our offensive line play. The offensive line and the tight ends were selected as the offensive players of the game. They physically moved Hiram all over the field. They did a great job, and it actually graded out as the best blocking performance in my tenure as head coach here.
Well, and with that as well, we talk about the passing game. The wide receivers are involved in that blocking game as well on the running attack. And so you really had 9 players just moving Hiram around all over the place. And I did notice your offensive line all game long really were opening up holes, and the backs really had a wide open field to run. Then talk about the running back's decision-making process. I mean, Donovan Snyder was picking good holes. He was running to open field and really just had a tremendous second game of his college career. I mean, that's the other thing to keep in mind.
He did. And then also we got to introduce Noah Bierman to Wabash football, and he did a super job. They're really good decision makers. They're very patient in the run game, and it fits with our zone scheme.
Yeah, Noah Bierma part of that. Also, Ethan Hasig came in late, and you were at a point in the game where you were looking to run clock, and so it was Ethan Hasig right, Ethan Hasig left, Ethan Hasig up the middle, and he just continued to pound out yardage and almost got in the end zone. It was unfortunate that he couldn't add one final score, but really did his job to run that clock out and get the game over with.
I think he has a tremendous future. All those, Cade Campbell, that whole group of running backs, they're really going to be special.
Now you turn your attention to Allegheny, a team that won its opening contest of the season against Teal College. Last week came up with some offensive struggles, shut out in its conference opener. The Gators lost 31-0 in their second contest of the season. What do you expect to see from them coming in, knowing that the first week they were able to really generate some points on offense and some yardage, but last week were shut down a little bit?
They really look like two teams. They played very well against Teal, and then they did struggle against Denison. I think they're capable of putting a very good game together, and that's what we're preparing for.
defensively, a good outing against Teal, and really against a good Denison squad. Not a horrible game. 31 points. And they've always been a solid defensive team. What do you expect to see against your offense on Saturday?
Well, there are a couple kids I know. B.J. Hammer recruited a bunch of years ago that are in their senior year playing, and they're good football players. And then they do have some talented young guys. We think they're very physical in their front, and they do have the ability to play man and not get beat. So we have a challenge ahead of us.
What are your big keys for the team on Saturday against Allegheny?
I think even before we get on the field, we've got so many things going on here at the college, the grand opening of the stadium, homecoming. I'm just hoping our guys can get a good night's sleep Friday night with everything going on. Obviously, chapel sing is Thursday, a lot of activities. We really need to be focused and play a great game from the start. I felt like in the Hiram game, we played well for patches, and then we didn't play well for patches. We'd like to alleviate all that.
Well, you segue into my next question perfectly. First two games of the season, Friday you're able to eliminate a lot of those distractions. You get on a bus, or Saturday in the case of the Rose-Holman game, you get on a bus, you're on the road, and you're able to really keep the focus on football. Now you've got a week where there is everything going on. You already mentioned the homecoming festivities. It's senior day, so the seniors are going to have a lot of their family back. They'll have the senior day celebration before kickoff. So that'll take just a little bit of their attention away. Then you've got everything happening with the stadium. You haven't played in front of a home crowd since 2019, and we know what homecoming crowds are like. So there'll be some energy from that, but there'll be some distraction as well. How do you try and eliminate that and get the focus on the field when that clock begins to start?
I think we do a good job year in and year out of preparing for the game and situations over and over and over. And despite everything going on, at 2 o'clock there's going to be a kickoff, and we will be ready to play at that point.
That kickoff is at 2 o'clock on Saturday. Of course, we will have that game for you live. Tickets are still available. I want to start with that. If you go to the Wabash website, the fourth story on our website is our ticket site. That will give you information about tickets. You can still go out and purchase tickets online to have those available on game day when you arrive. There are a limited number of tailgating spots remaining. As of this morning, I think we were down to 12 tailgate spots. So if you're looking for a place to tailgate, you need to get out on the website and get those sites ordered soon, or you may be looking for a spot to park and tailgate close to the stadium on Saturday, and there may just not be anything available. There are still seats available. There should still be seats available at kickoff, so you can still come to the game and purchase a ticket. Seating in the main portion of the stadium may be a little tight because a lot of people are planning on coming, but we do have additional seating in the end zone available. So we want to see you here. If you cannot make it to the game in person, we will have the broadcast on the air live for you. Jim Amadon and Steve Hoffman will have the call. That'll be at team1sports.com/Wabash, and that's a capital W in Wabash. Links are on the Wabash College Sports website as well. We'll have live statistical updates for you as well. And, of course, we'll kick it all off with this show as the pregame prior to Jim and Steve taking the air just a little bit before the kickoff at 2 o'clock. Coach, thank you so much. Always a pleasure to have you. Hopefully we'll talk to you next week after a Wabash victory over Allegheny. We are 4-0 against them in homecoming ball games, so I know your goal is to go 1-0 this week and hopefully 5-0 against the Gators in homecoming contest. Best of luck this week.
Thank you.
You've been watching the Don Morel Show, your chance to hear the thoughts and comments of the head football coach of the Little Giant program. We'll talk to you next week.
I think you come to the Belgium to win it. Wabash always fight.